What's up guys? Now, so for those of you that watch the channel regularly, you will recognize this machine. This is one that we recently built and it was actually started live as a HP Z240 workstation. We threw a bunch of components in here and actually made it into a pretty decent gaming PC for just £150. And then we gave it a bit of a recasing to improve the cooling, and we took you through some of the things that we had to do to kind of modify the motherboard and stuff, all the proprietary things, so that we could get the front I/O working. But I did get a lot of questions from people about this system, and one in particular was what to do if you needed to upgrade the power supply, because it uses proprietary connections as well. And in today's video, we're going to show you exactly how to do it. Now, to make things easier, I've actually ditched the case and I've took everything out as it was. Originally, this was a HP Z240 workstation PC. That's where the motherboard came from. And all we did is we actually just give it a little bit of an upgrade. We added some extra RAM. We kept the power supply because of the connections, and of course we added a graphics card, and that graphics card was the GTX 1060. Now, there was a good reason why we added this graphics card, because we didn't actually want to change anything else in the system, and this one fits the specifications of both the power supply and the connections we had perfectly. We then decided to give it a new case just to give it a bit more airflow, because the Z240 case wasn't that good, which actually meant we had to modify a few things. And what we did is we actually did a bit of soldering on the motherboard to get the front I/O, as well as the USB 3 and the USB 2 working. Now, we're not going to go into too much detail about those connections. If you want to watch those videos, make sure you wait to the end, because we'll link them at the end. But for today, we're going to be actually taking a look at the power connections. Now, the power connections on the power supply are a proprietary connection. We do have a standard 6-pin for a graphics card. When we actually come to the power on the top here for your EPS, that's actually a standard 4-pin, so we don't need to do any kind of modification for that. All we did when we actually built it into a new case was just include a little extension just so the cable could actually reach there, but that is a pretty standard one. But then we come to the main power. Normally on a motherboard, you will actually see a 24-pin connection here, but in the case of this motherboard, we've actually just got a single 6-pin, which is power in, and then we have a single 6-pin with power out, and then we have a funny kind of connection, which obviously takes up a few more of those power connections, as well as the auto on off for the power supply. Those connections are actually here. This is the white connection that's a bit funny. It's got some extra cabling in there, the power on and off for the power supply, and then we have the main power unit here, which is the 6-pin. The processor in this was an i5 6500, but if you were to take it up to something like an i7 6700, then you could actually get away with using a better graphics card. So this is actually a pretty decent reason why you'd want to do this. When we come to the actual power out here, which is the black connection, we actually get this additional cable. Now, the power supply itself doesn't come with any kind of Molexes. It's literally just got those 3 connections there for all of the power on the motherboard and the graphics card. So you get an extra cable here, which has got your Molexes as well. It's got a single Molex and a bunch of SATA connections, plus a little mini connection for things like DVD drives and stuff like that. But that actually powers itself from the motherboard. If we actually just wire this up as it would have been before, we have this black one in here. That was actually powering the SATA drive with our operating system on it. We had the white connection in there, which was giving the main power to the motherboard itself. We then had this little controller wire, which goes onto here. Then, of course, we had the EPS connection, which goes for the CPU, which was a little 4-pin, and that one plugs on here. And then to power the graphics card, we just have that simple 6-pin there. But what we want to do is actually install a new power supply, something that has more watts so that we can actually drive a bigger graphics card, and something that has better connections. And for that, we're actually going to be installing this. This is a pretty bog standard 550 watt gold rated power supply from Cooler Master. It is a fully modular one, and it actually came out of our recent editing rig upgrade. We actually took it out of the old system, and it's a perfectly good power supply. It's just been running a couple of years, but it actually hasn't been under that much stress. As I said, it is a modular power supply, so we've got the extra cables here. We have a 24-pin, and we have an 8-pin for our EPS. They do actually come with a 4-pin split version of this, but it means I've got to go to the box, and I can't be bothered to get it out of the box at the moment. But it does actually fit. I've tested it on the motherboard. But obviously, the biggest issue is going to be this 24-pin. There's no way that it can actually go on the 6-pin there. So we need to get an adapter, and for that, we've actually purchased one of these. You can buy these pretty cheap. You can buy them from anywhere, Amazon or eBay. All you need to do is search for a HP Z240 power adapter cable, and this is what you get. On the one side, we have a 6-pin connection, which is obviously going to go to the motherboard as the current power supply does. Then we have the funny little white connector, which is going to go where the white connector is already. And that actually goes through a little bit of a device. I'm not quite sure what's in there, but something that's going to be changing power up and down. all the way to a 24 pin, which should connect directly to the new power supply. To obviously install this, we need to strip this down. So we'll take off the EPS, we'll get rid of this power supply here, and then we'll get rid of this black one. We'll put this to the side for a minute, and the old power supply can be put away. For the new power supply, we need some connections here. We obviously need our adapter. We've got the 6 pin plus the little funny white one, so we'll connect that up. We'll get the white cable and we'll just hook it onto the motherboards there. And that should actually now power everything up. We can simply plug into our new power supply with the 24 pin onto there and hide it away back into the system. When it comes to this extra black one here, it is a 6-pin connection off to the Molexes and SATAs and stuff like that, as we've spoken about before. You don't necessarily need this anymore because, of course, your power supply is going to have as many connections as it needs. The ones that you actually get in the box for the power supply, you can use them, so they're all hidden away. But if you don't like the look of this little plug on here, or if you need additional ones, maybe you want to keep things a little bit tidier and actually use this shorter version instead of really long cables from the power supply, you can actually just get away with plugging that into the board and actually using it straight from there. We're probably going to ditch that though, because we don't need it with the power supply having stuff already. So we'll drop that down there. With the main power actually connected to the board now, we haven't actually connected it to the power supply yet. We'll do that when we build it into the system. Of course, we've got the 8 or the 4 pin EPS. This is an 8-pin connection. It will actually just install straight onto the peg here. It'll just slide down just like that and it'll go on there. It does just come shy of the motherboard at the top, but you can, like I say, in the box for this power supply there is actually a splitter. We might get the split version when we actually build this up, but for now that would actually produce enough power just using the 1/2 of the 8-pin plug. And then of course we come to the graphics card. Now for our GTX 1060, the 6-pin was perfectly fine, but we want to actually go a little bit higher in this, and this is not a recommendation at all. Do not do this. We are simply just using this graphics card here as an example of how we would all plug it in. This is the Intel Arc A750, and they really don't work well or that well with older motherboards. With a 6th gen processor, I'm not exactly sure what kind of performance we'd get out of it. Maybe we should actually install one of these one day and onto this actual system and show you guys what kind of performance loss you will get. It is a pretty decent graphics card, but of course it requires more than a 6-pin. It actually needs an 8 and a 6-pin. And with our new cable for our new power supply here, we can actually get that straight away. We can just plug this cable into the power supply and then we have a pigtail off. Again, I wouldn't recommend doing this. Make sure that your power supply, or at least if it does have multiple connections for these, if you've got 2 actual PCIe cables, use the separate cables because it just means that it can distribute power better to the graphics card. But a lot of people don't have multiple cables to a power supply. A lot of power supplies will only come with one, and then you of course get a pigtail. So that would of course plug into the power supply as it normally does, just in the connection there. And then we can just plug the graphics card in using both of the connections. And that would fundamentally get us a working system. We've got the motherboard now hooked up to the normal 24 pin. That will simply just plug straight into the power supply here. And we've got the EPS cable connected, which will go straight into the power supply as well. And your HP Z240 will then actually work from a brand new power supply. Now I'm going to throw this back into the case and we'll take a look at what it looks like as a complete unit. Okay, so now everything is built back up into the system. If we just flip it around, the cable management is terrible in this. I do need to do some work on it, but we can see that we've got our adapter cable coming around here. I've just pinned it down with a couple of Velcro straps, connecting into the 24 pin. We've got the EPS cable going up there, and we don't need the extension anymore because with a lot of more modern power supplies, and particularly ones that are built for these types of cases and these size cases, it will of course reach perfectly fine. And then we've got the SATA connection that actually goes straight to the power supply itself. But the thing that we're more interested in is of course that graphics card. Can we actually get cables now to the graphics card? And of course the answer is yes. With the new power supply, we do have a pigtail system here with an 8-pin and a, well, 2 6+2 pins, so we can create 8 pins out of them. But for this graphics card, obviously the Intel Arc, again, please don't do this. Don't install an Intel Arc A750 into an old system like this. It's just absolutely not worth it. You're going to be losing performance, particularly for this kind of card. You need something a little bit newer, but it gives us a great demonstration either way. We can just simply just connect it in just like that, flip the little 6-pin one around and plug it in just there. This will actually work perfectly fine now as a system. We've got a new graphics card installed. You can install anything into here, probably something maybe like a GTX 980 Ti or something like that. Might work fine with the 6th generation system. If you actually upgrade the CPU from an i5 to something like the i7 6700, which maybe we'll do in future, you guys let us know in the comments below if you want us to upgrade this system even further and see what kind of performance we can get out of it. You might get away with something like a 1080 or a 1080 Ti, or maybe even a 5700 XT. But of course, the graphics card doesn't matter for what we've actually achieved today. We've changed the power supply, which you can see down here. We now have the Cooler Master 550 watt installed in there. You will need a bigger power supply depending on the graphics card you want to go for, but the motherboard should be perfectly fine from anything around this because it did technically run from a 400 watt before. It's all connected in with an adapter. We've got the extra cable in now for the graphics card, and we've got our EPS connection installed as well. So for those of you out there that have actually built a system just like the one that we have here, where you've taken an old workstation, ours was obviously the HP Z240, but you can get workstations in many different brands. Now you know you don't have to worry about the proprietary connections for the power. You can simply adapt them, and if you actually search around online, you can pretty much find an adapter for any one of them out there. This specific adapter that we've used on this system will actually fit many of the HP systems, the 440, the 240, the 300s. So generally, if you actually kind of see it in that kind of range, and as well, if you double check the cables from the pictures, you can't really go wrong. That's exactly how you need to do it. Now, I'm not sure where we're going to take this system next. I do want to do something about the cooling solution in here, so make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see us take this system even further. Maybe we will change that CPU and do something fancy in terms of cooling. I'm going to now take this Intel Arc graphics card out of it, and I'll find something that will actually utilize our new cable system, and we'll obviously get the GTX 1060 put back into inventory. And I'm sure, as always, we will catch you in the next one.